bathroom door when I'd go to bed, and I'd run across the room and jump into the bed because I also thought they were under the bed. Yeah. And so I remember one time Mom was in the utility room washing clothes, and I was supposed to go take a nap. And so I went in the bedroom, and I always stopped in the middle of the bedroom, got down on my hands and knees, and looked under the bed to make sure there wasn't anything under the bed before I jumped in the bed. And so that day I went in this bedroom right here, no, it was the middle bedroom. I got down in the middle of the floor, and I looked under there, and there was a bear under the bed. And I just was terrified. And I went into Mom, and she was in the utility room where she was, and I was just crying, Mom, there's a bear under the bed. She just looked at me, and she said, Nina B., there's not a bear under the bed. Go take a nap, you're buying time. I said, oh, there's a bear under the bed. I can't take a nap. There's a bear under the bed. And I stood there and cried. Finally, she came in the bedroom with me, got down on her hands and knees, and looked under the bed. And she just sat there for a second, and she said, Rusty, come here, Rusty. Rusty. Here comes Rusty, little Cocker Spaniel.
There was a bear.
I knew it was a bear. I just knew it.
That's funny.
So I took an answer.
I've got another funny story, memory of Mom. When I was in high school, and I used to drink to excess on most every night, it seemed like. But one night I'd been out drinking, and we had a bum lamb that was in a box behind the stove, and I came in and I was blitzed, and Mom was sitting in the living room there reading a book, and as I started to sneak by to head upstairs, kind of staggering, Mom said, Gaylord. I said, yes. She said, would you catch that lamb and put him back in the box? And there, I could hardly stand up, and here's that lamb, and I go, whoa, and that lamb, whoop, and I got to laughing. I chased that lamb all around, and every time I tried to grab him, he'd scoot up. And I finally got a hold of him, and I was heading for the box, and Mom says, Gaylord, come here for a minute. So
You thought you were had.
beside her chair, and I was standing there going like this, weaving around, holding that lamb. And Mom asked me a couple of questions, and I answered her, and I went and put that lamb in a box and went to bed. She never knew I was drunk at all. She didn't know. All that went on was she
I'm surprised she looked up from her book.
Yeah, she didn't.
Oh.
She never looked up from her book.
Yeah.
But she was asking me questions. She was still reading.
Reading her book, yeah.
Yeah, she never did look at me. But
She did have a sense of humor. I know when the girls were all sitting in the living room, Mom was reading the Reader's Digest. Laughter is the best medicine. And a bunch of Brianna's teenage friends, and Mom started giggling, and she says, the secret to long life is to have a sense of humor, to giggle, to laugh at things. Because laughter is the best medicine. And she just started giggling, and the girls looked at her like, oh, you're crazy old lady. But, Mom really did have a sense of humor, but she had no concept of, I don't know, if somebody was in pain, it's more like she would, smooth it over a little bit, but not the hugs and the kisses. So, it was a few days after Ron died, and I'm at the kitchen table, and she wanted me to try her soup. Always wanted me to try everything she can, taste it.
Don't eat the mystery meat soup.
And I'd always say, yeah, it's good, it tastes good, yeah, it's good. But I probably wouldn't eat any more of it. Well, when I didn't have any food out of my house, I ate all her pickled stuff. It was like a problem if we did. And nonetheless, I was sitting there and I was crying over this mystery meat stew, she always had mystery meat stew. And I'm crying over this soup, and Mom, I get, Ron's dead, I can't live without him, and I carried on. She goes, do you think there's too much salt in that soup? And I said, well, there's now because my tears are falling. Like that. So I took her to the emergency room. We go in there, and Allison takes her blood pressure, and it's barely, she's barely like alive here, functioning, 62 over something or something like that. She's in there, and I said, Mom, do you want to go to the emergency room? Oh, I don't know. And I said, well, you're swelled up. Your face is swelled up. You're swelled up from your toes to your face. Oh, I don't know, I guess, whatever. And I said, well, we better get ready to go. Well, I have to have something to eat first. Probably the last thing she really ate. So I fixed her, what was a tuna sandwich?
No, I fixed her a chicken salad sandwich.
Salad sandwich. So
And
mom
chips.
eats real slow,
Yeah.
you know, so gets all the way over there and she still has this sandwich in the emergency room. And these gals come out with this wheelchair, there's 3 of them, and this guy comes out to lift her up, and they said, is she ready to go? And I said, well, I don't think so until she finishes her sandwich. And mom just she was right in front of the emergency room.
She wasn't one to waste food.
I know. She was just funny that way. I just had no concept. She'd be out in that garden 20 minutes before we had to do anything. And I told everybody yesterday, she'd be out in the garden. Mom, your funeral's happening. Well, just a minute. Just a minute.
Few more
Maybe
weeds.
later.
Few more weeds to pick.
I remember something about Mother that you probably don't know.
Probably before our time.
Yeah, it was. It was before your time for sure. I was probably about, I was in school. I was probably in the 1st or 2nd grade when I had the privilege of being an angel in a Christmas program that was put on over here at the old City Hall. That was when we still had a high school, maybe even. But anyway, I had to wear this long white dress. I think Vasey's loaned it to me or something, you know. It was a regular dress, but it was long on me because I was 7 years old or what it was. And it was after dark when I had to be over there, and you had to run over there at a certain time, and I was running late. And I forgot that Dad had a trench dug outside the... I just ran right into the ditch. And that white dress was just covered with mud, you know. And of course I was bawling and got out and went in the house. And Mom she just took it right in her stride. She took the dress off, she washed it, she ironed it dry, put it back on me, and I think I still got over there almost on time. But I mean, just doing something like that, you know, where other people would probably go crazy. Mother just took it right in her stride and took care of it for me, yeah.
Tell them about the garden last year when you was over here.
Well, everybody knows that. You know, Mother, I was out here in July last year. You'd think Mother was really, you know, there was really nothing seriously going amiss in her life, in her physically, because she went with Gary and I all over the country. We went down to the ranch, went over to Aladdin, went up the Devil's Tower, took all kinds of excursions and ate out a lot. And it was probably the day before we left. Late in the afternoon, I noticed Allison, because I was dragging the hose across to water those moonflower seeds that I planted along the fence for Mother. And I noticed that the peas needed to be picked. So I said, Mother, I didn't know who was paying attention. I said, those peas look like they need to be picked. And she says, really? She said, doesn't Allison know that? And I said, I don't know, you know. I said, but they need to be picked. And so Mother and I went out there and started picking those peas. And I would pick, we had a row from here to that gate, you know, your long row there. And I was picking the one side, the river side, and she was picking the opposite side, but she would pick my side after I picked it, you know. And so we were picking along. When we got to the end, I said, Mother, let's go in, you know, it was starting to get twilight. And she said, well, just a minute. And she would go back. I don't know, she was still standing on her head. When I went in, after picking peas for a good 45 minutes or whatever, she stayed out there in the garden, and pretty soon she came in and helped me finish shelling the peas.
She was out there for 8 hours a day, literally. And I would come here a couple years ago, and I couldn't find her. Nobody knew. She was laying underneath that street light out there in the garden picking weeds. Laying there because her back was hurting. Mom, are you okay? Yeah, my back was hurting. So that's what I told her the first time. I said, well, if you die out here, we're going to use you as fertilizer. I'm just going to dig a hole right here and roll you off it.
Yeah.
But she would never come in.
It would be hot out. It would be like 100 and some degrees.
She had long johns on though.
She'd be wearing long sleeves and long pants and a hat. And she'd be hunched over, like clear over. Like I can't do that. When I'm gardening, I use one of those stools to sit on because it hurts my back. And she did that.
Well, you know, only the last couple of years.
Yeah, but she
When
couldn't.
she first started going downhill, I believe, was when she started bending over at the middle and picking stuff up off the floor with her finger.
Yeah.
I mean, and I said, Mama, how do you do that?
Yeah, I
No
do
problem. She just bent over.
It's easier for me to do
She'd
that.
be like,
Over at the
oh, I
waist
can't
and
sweep
right
the
there on the
kitchen,
floor.
my
Yeah,
back
no
hurts.
problem.
I'm like,
It was not a
but you
problem.
could bend over in the garden and pick them weeds all day, but you can't sweep the kitchen for
It was weird.
What?
Her back
No.
hurt less when she was bent over.
Sweeping hurt her back.
Yeah, I know. As I said, she couldn't sweep the floor because she's like, I
She
need
could
you to
bend
sweep
right
my
over
floor.
the middle and
Hurts my back.
put her
I'm like,
nose
but
on
you're
the
bending
floor.
over all day long.
You know what I've just remembered, telling Denise, when Mike and I laugh, a lot of times it doesn't come out of our mouth. You know, we just kind of bounce.
Oh.
You know, you know. I
Maybe
noticed
you,
that.
I'm sure
I
I
noticed that
don't.
about him. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyhow, I realized that Mom did the same thing. She'd get amused and she'd kind of go.
Yeah, she did. We was talking to her about
I
She'd
said
chuckle
that
internally.
I hardly ever heard Mom laugh out loud.
But she would get amused or tickled, and she'd just kind of bounce.
She was always smiling, and you knew she was tickled.
Uh-huh.
She wasn't a real demonstrative laugher.
a lot of things tickled her.
Yeah,
It's
she's
the
right.
silliest
She
stuff. Like
did.
the time with the dog with 2 legs, or no legs.
Mother and I laughed.
That was you.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
I mean, she
laughed
was with
out
me, but
loud a lot.
I
Giggled
just-
a lot.
Well, I have a story I thought of. I was looking for a plaque in the house there
in my mind.
to read, but Mom went up to Alaska with us. I don't know, gosh darn, it's probably been 20 years ago now.
close
And-
to it.
Yeah, we went over to Kodiak to visit our friends Ken and Kate, who were here for the service yesterday.
I think she was 77 when she went up there.
Well, she's 77.
Something
I
like
remember her sitting on the plane. She and I flew up together, and she said, you know, when you get old, she said, you don't really feel old. You don't really think you're old until you look in the mirror and then you say, who is that old person? Because you don't realize that you're old because you don't feel that way inside, you know.
Right.
And I think she always kind of felt that way. She wasn't young inside. She was just young because her body got old. But when we were there, we were fishing for salmon there on Kodiak. We went out to a place called Pasag Shack and we're fishing away, and Mother caught a big old salmon and she reeled it in, and there on Kodiak, I think we were fishing for silver salmon probably, and she caught a different kind of salmon. And so when she brought it in, well, a pink, they call them dog salmon. They're just, you know, Mike's fish farm there. Yeah, they're just chum, not something that you keep or eat. And so when Mom got that big old fish in, you know, she was all excited, and Ken and Fran were both there, and I don't know which one, probably Fran said, well, we're not keeping that. And he let her fish loose. He put it back in the water and it swam away. She was so upset about that. She was just really
Let me
upset. Well,
tell
there was
you,
nothing wrong with that
Joan and Gary
salmon.
were with us. I took Mom out to the lake in the boat. We're fishing, and Mom catches a trout. It was about that long. And, you know, one of the first ones we caught. We bring it up here, and Mom's tickled. I wasn't even thinking about it, and I just turned it loose because I don't keep them like that. Right? And Mom was mad the rest of the day.
Did she tell
And
you
we
about
caught
the
more. I
Alaska
said, Mama,
fish?
we're going to catch big fish. Didn't matter.
Yeah.
It was really big,
Well, let
right?
me tell you, Paul Harvey, I want to tell you the rest of the story. So we got home, and, you know, Mom was like, there was nothing wrong with that fish. I don't know why they let that fish go. I mean, she just fussed and fussed and fussed about it. So a few months later, we got a yellow manila envelope from the Alaska Fish and Game up in the corner there, and so I got this brilliant idea. I typed up an official-looking, like, certificate.
That's Lisa,
Yeah, you probably all read it. It hung on Mom's wall for a long time, and it said something to the order of, you know, Neil Ager, the Alaska Wildlife Fish and Game Department wants to thank you for conserving the species of pink salmon that come into our bays in Kodiak, Alaska. I mean, it was just a bunch of, you know, baloney. Yeah, baloney. And then at the bottom, it said, you know, we're recognizing her for this, and at the bottom it was signed Captain Ken Skinner and deckhand Fran Walter or something, you know. And so we thought she'd know it was a joke. Well, I think she thought it was real because she hung it on her wall and she showed it to everybody, you know. Yeah, it was so funny, and I don't know.
Nobody
I think eventually
corrected
I
that.
told her it wasn't a joke, but Yeah, it looked official because it was in a manila envelope from the Fish and Game
That's when
Department
they
in
had surgery, so
Alaska.
it's been about 17 years ago that she went up there.
Yeah, so anyway, bless her heart,
Well,
yeah.
I'm standing here and I see all these leaves and stuff behind you guys, and I hear you talk about Grandma not wanting to throw things away or not wanting to waste anything. A couple summers ago, we came over to visit her. She's sitting in her chair in the kitchen and eating a salad. What are you doing, Grandma? She's like, I'm just eating this salad. Oh, it looks pretty good. She goes, it is really good. These leaves, I got them out of the garden. They're really good. They're great. I've never had them before. If I would have known they were this good, I would have picked them sooner. And I was just always throwing them away. And I'm thinking to myself,
Uh-oh.
Grandma, try one. Okay, well, you know, maybe it's good.
Yeah, there's one of them too.
Some sort of weed Grandma's eating, and I ate a bite of it, and it tasted like a weed. Look, it's the best damn weed I've ever eaten. I'll tell you that much. Because I've never eaten a weed before. And I eat it, I'm like, Grandma, you know, I'm not going to break Grandma's heart. That's really good, Grandma. She's like, it's just amazing. I'm going to go out and pick myself some more of that. I just didn't have it in me to tell her that it was the worst tasting.
Just a nasty old weed, huh? That is funny.
It's like an unscrubbed potato.
We just played about it for a long time. 'Cause I remember Ron was dying. Okay, he's sitting out here in the car, and he was dead within a month, but he had rheumatoid compressive sores. He just wasn't feeling good, you know. But he was getting enlightened by the Lord, so he didn't say anything. And 4 hours literally went by. She had 10 tomato plants, and 4 hours went by because I couldn't take a whole without picking the purslane out of it. And it has roots that just go on. You can't get rid of it. So she pick, and I said, Mom, you know, Ron has no ass, and I have no patience. I said, you're going to have to do this on your own time, and I'm going to dig these holes, and you can pick that first lane all day. I don't care. So I dug the holes for her, come back that night, check on her. She's still picking that first lane out of it. The very next day, I don't know where she read it or whatever, but she found out it was very high in vitamin C.
First name,
Yeah.
It was on Dr.
Was it? And she had a whole bowl of it. And she picked out
That could have been the weed.
That's probably what she was eating.
Yeah, go around things. But she absolutely was the most intelligent person that I ever knew in my life. You just had to ask her. You know? I mean, she knew something about everything.
From reading and
I
stuff.
Because she read everything.
I read everything. But she had this. I came
Had a
in one
good
day
memory.
because she
Mom
sent
had a
Dusty.
good memory.
Yeah, she did.
Right
I
up
sent
to the
Dusty
end.
over, or she sent Dusty over to get ADHD test. Oh, she thought Dusty had ADHD. And he had all these projects
he has
going, and he
hoo-ha
never got them
disease.
done, you know. And so she sent him over to Spearfish. I came in and I said, Mom, they said he didn't have that. He doesn't have ADHD. He's got HUHA. And she goes, HUHA? I haven't read that. What is that? And I said, it's the hoo-ha. The hoo-ha? I have never read about that. And I said, yeah, he's got his head up his ass. Well, sure way they do. You know, you can't have Mom goes, oh, I've never heard of that. I was like,
She thought she should have read about that in a medical journal, right?
and she goes, where'd you hear that from? I just made it up, Mom. I never read about the hoo-ha.
That's funny.
One thing she
Everybody
didn't
has
know
something
about.
wrong with it. When she read about it, when you came in, you had something, well, it could be, you know. Well, I read about this.
You have to admit, Mom was one of a kind. She really was.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
We all
We all are. I know, but
We're all
in the head.
yeah.
we all have certain of her
The perseverance.
characteristics.
I think
that
you
we
get
learned.
Perseverance from you know, to
And lots of other
persevere.
things.
Called
from Dad, maybe. I don't know.
We might be master procrastinators, but it'll get done because Mom
hard
would
to
say,
say.
if it never gets done, I'll live just as long. Well, I'll live just as long if it never gets done.
The cluster on this I got from Grandma. It came from picking her damn raspberry bushes. So I'd go through and she'd say, you missed some. I'm like, where? And she'd spread them apart, hands, knuckles bleeding, right there. I'm like, that one? I'm like, that's not worth it. Yeah, look at me and no. And I think I was done and she'd hand me another bucket. And the buckets kept getting bigger. I thought I was done.
Yeah.
I told these guys this, Jed, but right before she went down, this was like within a month, the guys would come hunting, so I'm on her floor scrubbing with the grease lightning in this brush, you know, and it's hot. Mom kept saying, oh, you shouldn't do that, Marla, right now. You take a break, you know, you shouldn't be doing that. you don't have to do that and everything. And I said, okay, Mom, I think I'm having a heart attack. Seriously, I'm having a heart attack. I think I better take a break. And she goes, but what about that spot over there? I said, I'm having a flipping heart attack. She says, well, there's a black spot over there. I just got obsessed with that. You know, before was her number
ERS.
She had a hoo-ha.
ERS. Excessive repulsive.
No, she didn't. Like, what about that spot? Every time you come near, she... I do that too, though. So I'm
No,
not
like,
How about you, Brianna?
well, a
Do you
couple
have
months
any?
ago, when we were talking about how, like, when Uncle Vaughn was talking about when he came in drunk and Grandma never noticed she didn't look up, you know. When she got real bad a couple months ago, you know, we had to use adult diapers and stuff to prevent some unfortunate incidences. And I'm down there and she wasn't getting on the toilet fast enough, and so we had an incident. And I'm down there trying to clean it up, and as I'm hunched over with Grandma's naked nether regions above my head about this far away, I'm cleaning up the mess, and she's up there, she's picking the fuzzies off the back of my shirt. And she goes, and she's like, you got something on your shirt? And I said, I know, Grandma, just let me finish getting you cleaned up. And then she's like touching my hair, because I have a hair in place. She goes, you know, she goes, did you color your hair? It just looks so nice. Grandma wasn't one for compliments. Because usually she'd just tell me, Brianna, you're fat, you need to lose weight.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, Grandma, you tell everybody they're fat and they need to lose weight because you're skinny, okay? So she's like, your hair looks just really nice today. Thank you, Grandma. Let's get some pants back on. Didn't matter every time we were trying to clean up or get her ready to go, she's like, nope, I'm not done. And she'd be picking at ears, you know, because she got to picking so bad. Well, then one day, Mom was wearing these pajamas that she bought, these real soft, like, fuller fleecy ones, and we went in there, and she goes, oh, Marla, your pajamas are so nice. My mom's like,
Don't touch me.
don't pick them. Like, we're just trying to get to bed. Because it was like an hours-long affair to, you know, get her up and dressed on the toilet, into the bed, and Mom's like, just lay down. Don't pick them. It didn't matter what you were doing, she'd pick it, but it was just funny, because I'm in probably one of the most uncomfortable positions in my entire life. And
She's just chit-chatting.
Well, she did have an accent. She goes, I didn't do that.
She was so nice today. I was like,
didn't do that.
thank
Brianna
you.
said, well, I didn't crap in your pants, Grandma.
Just funny 'cause she
No, real life.
Picking a turkey. She could pick a turkey clean.
Yes, she could.
Chicken clean like
She would
nobody else.
eat the marrow out of the
Yes,
bone.
and chicken bones. Yes, she would.
She gets rotisserie chicken and we, you know, eat the breast and stuff, and then she makes the rest of it into like a chicken tortilla soup.
Yeah.
That's done.
You went on none of this.
My grandma would be very unimpressed.
I see a shred there.
Not only would she pick clean, she would
Yeah. Right.
She'd do that. We'd all be done with a chicken dinner. You know, we'd all be done. Everybody'd be left from the table. And she'd be still there. She'd have this pile of bones on her plate. They would be totally spotless. She'd get to the very last part.
See, I'm a germaphobe, and eating with Grandma was sometimes a challenge for me. Because I order something, and I'd always ask her before I ate it. I'm like, Grandma, you know, do you want to try a bite with your clean fork? No, I'm okay. And I'd be in the middle of eating my meal, and all of a sudden she's like over there putting her fork and stuff in my mashed potatoes. I'm like, oh, you can have it, thanks, I'm good.
You didn't dare leave anything in the car like the Cheetos. Brianna bought these brand new books and actually.
I did. I had a brand new book I had just bought. Grandma didn't want to come into Walmart. She wanted to stay in the car. And no, it was those Buffalo Ranch pretzel thins. So they're orange, bright orange. And I come out of the car or out of the Walmart, and Grandma has eaten the entire bag of them Buffalo Ranch pretzel thins and got orange fingerprints all over the pages of my brand new book.
Oh no!
She was reading the book. She was reading the book as she was.
I really like those. You like those?
And it'd be gone.
Are we about ready to go
I'm not
forward,
gonna lie.
Dean?
We were prepared for trips to town with Grandma by not leaving anything in the car to eat. She all of a sudden, but she'd be like, all of a sudden, you know, there's orange fingerprints on your new book, or she's slobbering on your straw. Grandma wasn't the best about rinsing, you know, wiping or rinsing her mouth, so there'd be like food on your straw. And I'd be like, you can finish that. I'm good. Are you sure you don't want any more? I'm like, no, I'm okay.
it comes from a long history of, you know, sticking your fingers in things that
Tasting
that
it.
you wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. You know,
Is it
it would
still
be
good?
green mold on the
Scrape
top,
the mold. No, she's
and
telling me
she'd
the
like
jelly
move the
started.
mold aside. Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
She, when I
Scrape
lived with
that
her,
off.
she took a block of cheese that was probably about yay big out of the fridge and it had mold on the outside, and she whittled that sucker down till it was about that big. Got all the mold off, all the crusty parts, all the hard parts. It was still a good block of cheese.
Well, I do that.
Well, me too.
Well, it was a big block for like 4 people at one time, and then it was whittled down to a block for one.
I'm not putting the lids on her crap. I think that is like a...
I went in to get Cool Whip out of the freezer, and
What'd you find?
of
16
course, yeah,
different
there's all
things?
the Cool Whip containers, and I was
Take a
and I
guess.
opened one up, and Grandma was just over my
You know,
shoulder.
no one had.
I've been looking for that.
Where'd you
And
go?
she snatched it up. I don't know what it was.
A thing of corn or something, probably.
Gravy or something.
Oh, great.
Whatever it was, she was
Grandma
looking
didn't
for
label
it,
things.
and she took it and did something with it. And I opened
Well, I
up
made a
few more,
joke.
and finally, somebody said, it's in the fridge. The Cool Whip's in the fridge.
Not in the
I'm like, oh, that's right. You don't.
How many sacks of clothes and stuff did you haul out? And Mom says, there was a skirt that matched that shirt. I must have taken...
Well, I made the joke when she did pass and we cremated her. Mom's like, let's find a nice container. I said, you know what? Just use a damn butter container.
A Cool Whip
I
container.
would have made her happy. I said, her and her butter.
Ed Wilson said yesterday, Sherry, you need to take a couple of Cool Whip containers home. And I said, why? She said, give them to Aunt Neil to put stuff in, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, I said,
Came
okay.
with 3 labels on them, and none of those 3 labels.
Or what it was today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, does anybody else have anything else you want to share?
Actually, today this morning I was spraying weeds at the ranch, and I was thinking about Grandma, just all the flowers and stuff that are out there. And I was thinking about how uncool Grandma was, but cool because she didn't care about it. She didn't care about the
It was in
Joneses
pieces
and
when they got it.
people around her.
The biggest piece of it was
So then I
the
wondered,
stoker,
just kind of popped
you
in my
know,
mind.
that was in one chunk, as I
I care
recall.
about keeping up with the Joneses. How many gardeners
It's
would
not
the
in
Joneses
use
had
at
to
all,
hire
right?
to
You
keep
know,
up with
have
the
That's for sure.
That beautiful garden that she had and everything.
It was to be
I
envied.
can't grow anything to save my life. Grandma can grow
I
anything.
don't see gardens like this.
No.
Well, it takes you a good hour to water.
Yeah.
Just to water. Yesterday,
That's the
when
truth.
we were all here after the service, Christina and I were all standing aside. She goes, "You have not been poking your finger in Grandma's plants. They're dry." And she went to water. I was like, "I'm sorry, I just watered them on Wednesday." I was like, "I'm sorry."
And you could talk her into anything. Mom, I mean anything. Like on her birthday and stuff, we could get her wear stuff and dress up. Like
Like
that
her
elf
elf hat and her
elf hat
tiara.
Christmas.
She was game. She's fair game for anything.
I miss buying flowers with her this year more than, but I was nice because I had Marla to go and check out. Different. She's not as good as Grandma was with flowers. Like, I'm the same way as Neil in the sense that I could go into a greenhouse and I could spend all day in there looking at all the plants and like visualizing what it's going to look like when it grows. And so when we were buying flowers this year and stuff for everything, I just thought, if Neil was here, she'd be just marveled at this place because there was just so much, and there was every kind and every color of every kind of flower and vegetable and plant you would ever even want. And I remember the last summer when we went and we bought her flowers, I just took her down here to the gas station and she says, "You better drag me out of here because I'll just buy every color of petunia that there is in here." And I'm like, "Well, don't ask me because I won't restrain you." So we were kind of a bad pair to go and buy flowers because we'd come home with 6 flats of flowers, you know. And
She's lucky to have you to keep her flower gardens in her garden and stuff, Allison. That's a blessing. You're a blessing to her.
buy the half dead ones and she'd bring them home and revive them back.
True story.
She'd always look at her bulbs and say, "Mom, I could be having open heart surgery and you want your damn bulbs planted." She did not care.
Okay, so I'm going to just pass out some cups.
You got
A little bit of ashes and
I had to move. I'm starting to cook over there.
You're gonna have to, dude. You can each just take your own time with Mom's.
I mean, I can live a while.
Team between you and her.
Hey, Mamacita. No eyeballs in there.
Marla.
Well,
How do you know?
And Mom's not there.
Yeah.
Mother's nowhere near.
Nina's gonna
yeah, I'll hold it for you if you want to go.
Well, I mean, she's not anywhere near her ashes, probably.
Emmeline, let's go to Grandma's ashes.
Oh, I don't know. There's quite a few in there.
It's amazing how many are in there. Grandma's such a tiny woman.
Mom.
Here, guys. Oh, hey, there's a scoop. Yeah, we'll just
Kind of bizarre thing.
You want to smash with the gram? Oh, sorry,
That's a Queenie. Wow, that's all I can say.
And the garden's all marked pretty well, so you guys can walk in there. You can see where stuff's planted. Yeah. You all flowers.
Grandma would be what?
I trust
All sorts of colors.
Yeah.
You all know better than to step out on the road.
Thank you,
She
honey.
doesn't have her favorite church outfit on. I can see that. No, she wore the same one all the damn time.
Grandma, put some clothes on.
Oh, she wears every church Sunday. She'd be like, Mom, you want to change? Oh, no, I like it. She had so many outfits.
Put them in different places, all in one, whatever you want to do.
I would hold it kind of close to the ground because the wind will
Yeah.
take ashes and
Hear that,
blow it
Ann?
on you.
Close to the ground, because they will. Remember when we spread Grandpa's ashes and blew all over us?
Did you get some,
Yeah,
Sharon?
yeah.
Yes.
He
Don't.
said, do not throw your cup away. We can use it for iced tea later. I gave my cup away to Emmeline. Sorry. I gave my cup away. Grandma would be ashamed. She gave a cup away.
Mamacita.
I know, Emmeline's like, where are those chunky things, man? I'm like, oh, bone, Emmeline.
I think so. Everybody get what they wanted out of here?
Yes.
Okay, how about Sherry?
What about you,
Yep.
Mom?
Yeah, Nina's got mine.
Oh, okay. Did you get yours, Nina?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put her back in her box. Get back in your box, Grandma.
Sitting in there better all the time.
The box is pretty hideous.
No idea.
I think so.
I didn't live here.
Doesn't matter.
Gardens,
Flowers.
flowers, garden patches. Here, Marla.
Oh, thank you.
That rhubarb's gonna benefit a bit.